Hi everyone, Lady Amalthea here with day 14 of 31 days of tarot, and today's prompt is: which tarot decks give you the most insight by way of imagery and symbology of the cards rather than intuition or basic tarot knowledge? And this prompt was written by Elizabeth Harkin. So thank you, Elizabeth, for that one. So I'm going to go with, for me, I mean, I only have a few physical tarot decks: Wild Unknown, Lion Strider, Crystal Unicorns, Lumina, Shadowscapes, two of the Doreen Virtue Radley Valentine decks. Did I say Shadowscapes? Sorry, I can't remember if I did. But those are really the only physical decks I've got. I've got a few apps, free and paid for ones. But yeah, I guess for me, it's got to be Shadowscapes. So the Shadowscapes one I have comes in just this little, very basic cardboard box. I realised after purchasing that I'd bought the basic one, not the one with the fancy guidebook. It does come with a little white book, but it is a pretty little white book. Just a little basic kind of thing. I really want to get the companion book that I've seen online that some people have. It just looks so beautiful. So hopefully I'll be able to pick that up at some point. But for me, yeah, I just really feel, and it could be because I've studied these cards in depth and slowly more than I have any other deck, apart from the Lumina Tarot, as I've been using the Shadowscapes Tarot in my course from Little Red Tarot, the card a day course. And so part of that is you spend each day of the course just looking at the card and examining the card and trying to understand the symbols of the card. And for me, it's very rich with imagery. Like, just look here, I've got the full, because I've still got them in order as I'm still studying them. It's just got so much imagery going on, like the characters standing on 3 monkey statues, and there's balls of light, and there's butterflies, and there's a fox, and there's birds, and she looks like the fool looks like she's about to step off into this journey. And I just feel that these cards, I can look at any card in the deck that I've looked at so far and just feel like I know something that's going on. Like the Hanged Man, it's the most playful Hanged Man image I've seen so far. Like I said, I haven't worked with a lot of tarot decks as yet, but it's just such a playful image, and it's just such a beautiful old tree. And you can see that there's like dryads and fair folk in this image. See here. And you can see the dryads in the trees. So there's a bit of glare. It's a very bright sunny day today, and it's just such beautiful evocative imagery. One of my favorites, let's see if I can find it because they are still in order, is, where is it, the Chariot, which is, I've mentioned before, my birth card. And just look at that. It's got unicorns and sea creatures, and the unicorns are cresting the waves, and there's like a castle in the back, and I just absolutely love this image. And I feel like there's just so much going on in these cards that the artist Stephanie Pugh Law just has done such amazing work. Her imagery is so detailed. I actually have a case for my phone with one of her illustrations on it. It's not from the it's not from the Shadowscapes deck. It's just an illustration, and it's just absolutely so beautiful. It was so hard picking just a single one, and yeah, I just really love her artwork. And it just feels like there's so much going on that if you sat and just read the cards and just looked at the imagery, you'd be able to find meaning and understanding without needing to consult the book. And I also find that the Lumina Tarot, which is my deck of the month, as I've mentioned before, the Lumina Tarot by Inner Hue, those cards also have quite rich imagery. Like here, we've got the Knight of Pentacles, and there's just so much going on. There's the man standing in the symbol. I think it's overlapping pentacles. I'm not 100% sure with the, I assume it's a mama and a baby bear, and the mountain and the forest in the background, and just the pop of color, because most of these cards don't have a lot of color in them. So when they do, the color's always significant. Or like this one, this is the full from this deck, and there's so much color happening here, and you can really, it's just such a beautiful symbol, and there's so much going on. And I feel like, yeah, if you were just to read with these cards without the book, you probably would be able to get a reading, like a clear reading, and an idea of what was going on. So I just, yeah, for me, those two decks, they really speak to me. To be honest, most of the tarot decks I work with, I do find the symbols and the images to be quite strong. That's why I've selected them, with the exception of the Archangel Power Tarot and the Fairy Tarot, both by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. To be honest, I'm not sure if I'm going to hold on to those or not, or if I'll pass them on. But yeah, maybe it's because they deviate so much from the traditional structure. I don't feel as connected to them compared to, say, a deck that I purchased as an app the other day, the Dark Goddess Tarot. That uses like fire and earth and other things instead of, say, for example, wands and pentacles. And yet that doesn't feel like it's deviating too much. It feels like it's staying within the traditional bounds. And yeah, I find I've only pulled a few daily cards from that so far, but I just think it's absolutely beautiful, and there's some great imagery and some great things to learn from that deck. So I wouldn't mind to get my hands on a physical copy of that at some point, but digital will do for now until I have a bit more money, and after my move, seeing as, like I've said, I'm trying not to buy anything at all before I move. I might have to buy a few essentials, like some dog food arrived yesterday, which is definitely an essential in this household anyway, even though he's on a diet at the moment, so it'll take him longer than normal to go through his food, but we've still got his food. So yeah, I just find it could be like the particular kinds of artwork I'm drawn towards. I find are heavy in symbols and deep visuals. I just find those are the kinds of cards that I'm drawn to. I really like cards that can tell a story by themselves, and that could be because I've had a longer background in using oracle cards. I picked up my first deck of oracle cards in 2006, so that's quite a few years ago now. And tarot, I picked up my first tarot deck, which was the Lumina Tarot, in, I believe, 2015. So yeah, it's good that there are visual options. That's actually part of what kept me away from tarot for so long, was I only thought the only tarot deck was the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And as soon as I found that there were other decks, I totally got into it. That's like when I saw the Lumina Tarot, I absolutely knew I had to have it. I don't even remember how I came across it. I wish I kept better records of my purchases or my journals or something, so that I knew where I discovered Lumina and what made me go, I must have this deck, and it made it my first tarot deck purchase, because it's so beautiful. and I'm having great readings with it. I did been doing some readings for myself, for some other people, and I'm just getting such great results with them. I just think they're such great cards, so I would highly recommend if you're thinking of getting them. I'd like at some point to do a review. I would like to review all my decks eventually. Hopefully I'll get there. I don't know if you can see there's this little dot right there. That's actually a moth, and it's like this big. It's huge. It's so beautiful. It's been there for a few days. I hope nothing bad happens to it and it gets to live out its life in peace, because it's just such a beautiful creature. But I think I've rambled on enough for now, so I will say thank you for watching. Blessed be, and until next time.